Hi everyone, Great Power 60 here. So my cover is all glued on nicely here, and I'll be able to take all of my sheets of watercolor paper and put it in here. I think probably what I might try and do, I should have left a little bit more of a gap, and I'm wondering if I'll be able to do a little fixing here. I don't know if this is going to work, but we're going to give it a try. For some reason, it doesn't want to go straight down. Oh, it's because there's a little piece of something there. Let's see if we can do this again. Might be a little off. What I'm trying to do is just give myself a little bit of room on a I guess I should have tried to do it on this side, but okay. I'll try and do it again on this side. I think I might have to put something here to allow it to, I guess I could use my ruler, right? And fold it up. So that I have a little bit of room to put more than things I didn't think about when I was first designing it. And as you can see, this comes up a little bit. So I will need to use something to make it a little bit more secure in that area. And I'm sure I'll come up with something. Because if I'm making this a folder, I need to have some space here, so I'm definitely going to have to take something. Now I could always strip this off, but to put the rest of this in here, sorry it's up so high for you, there, and that way I've got all of my pages will come apart. And I think once they're done, I will be able to attach them somehow. But for now, yeah. So I need a strip, a 1/2 inch strip or more to put there. And I'll have to come up with something. But it glued on beautifully, which means that I can use this paper, this handmade paper. I could glue this very easily onto different things and use them for pockets or tags or whatever. So that is something I will look into. But for now, I'm definitely going to need a strip. And I think it might even have to be maybe cardboard or something very thick. Now, I do have this, this was the backing of the watercolor paper, so maybe I can put that on there, although it is thick. I'll have to come up with something. I'll have to think of something. But I'm really, really pleased that the gluing went well and that all of my papers will fit in there nicely. And then all I have to do is make a nice little cover for it. And the other thing I want to do is find something to wrap around it. Now, chances are I am going to probably use either this very thick rope or this jute string rope, or I also have this jute burlap garland, they call it, where I could, and let's see where it is, where I could use this and create kind of a belly band or whatever they're called and have it slide on there. I think I like this. I think I like this idea very much. And it gives me a chance to use up some of this burlap. I always seem to have things in my stash that I buy for a purpose and don't use it. But this might be really cool. I mean, I cut it much too long, obviously, but it might be a really cool way to wrap around my artwork and have this sealed somehow. So that's something I'm going to have to think about. Yeah, things I have to think about. So I went out today. I had to go and pick up a few things, and I picked up another jot of white. I don't have any white glue, so I picked that up. I also picked up, if I can find them, I just noticed this paper. It's green, mind you. That is columns and stuff. I don't have a lot of this kind of columns, and I'm going to put that on the shelf. And this I'll be able to use for different craft projects in my journal. So I'm glad I picked that up. And the other thing I picked up sounds really silly to you, maybe, but for me, I am going to be tracing some of these faces, and I want to embellish them so that I can, I also want to color in here. I want to try different things. It even gives you a grid to show you how you can replicate drawing Rapunzel, which is really kind of cool too. Yeah, that's the purpose of me buying this coloring activity book, where I'll be able to, because somebody can draw better than me when it comes to faces and dogs and things. Yeah. Like, I know a lot of these things are copyright, but if I use it as a stencil and change the look of it, then I won't be, yeah. So that's what that's for. And I want to get going on some watercoloring. I want to do some practicing, and that is why I have these because I want to be able to do some, yeah, I want to be able to do some coloring and to be able to use some of this artwork that someone else is better at than I am. Not the whole thing. I just want parts of it. Yeah. So that's what I am up to. That's what I am doing. I am glad I thought of this burlap. I will definitely cut this a little straighter. This can always be used, and I don't need to have it that wide, but I do want it loose enough so that when these thicken up, this is not going to be too tight. So what I might do is fold it over and use, I have one here, use buttons to wrap around and close it. Sew a button on here, sew a button on here, and then wrap some of the jute twine that I have around it, and that will keep it all closed. I really love that idea. I love that idea. So that's what I'm going to do with that, and that is it for me for today. I just wanted to share that this handmade paper that I have so much of can be glued very easily on different papers. I'm just going to see if I can grab another. Now, out of my book here, this is where I have very thick paper. So I've got black, and I've got white, and I've got craft paper. If I see another one of these paper pads at Dollarama when I go, I will definitely see if I can purchase another one. I like the fact that I have the different thicknesses of paper that I can use. So I can glue that on here, and there's 2 sheets. So I can easily cut that down and use it on different backgrounds. That will be really, really cool. I'll be able to cut that down here. And it doesn't matter if it's not straight, because most of the edges are loose. I wonder if I can do that on here. I suppose I could really work at it, probably wet it and work at it and have that on there. And I'll be able to cut these into different pieces. I could also make a mini journal using this. Here's the white. I could cut that and glue that right onto this white cardstock because it's very thick, although the watercolor paper is thicker. Yeah. And it worked really well on the watercolor paper. And I could fold that, once it's glued, fold that into a mini journal. And I could make a really cute mini journal. I wonder also, my wondering is coloring it. If I can use, since I have so many of these, I can easily take some of my paints, try different things on it. Wouldn't that be really cool? I could try inks, paint, acrylic paint, my acrylic markers to water it down and paint it. I'm wondering. Well, that's a future project for me to do. I do have a lot of ideas to try and use up some of these. If you can think of any ideas like what I could do with this, like I say, I could glue it onto cardstock and cut them into little booklets or into a journal, into a small journal. Yeah, but I really, really am curious about painting and how it would be with the different colored markers. I mean, it's obviously going to absorb it, but if I water it down, I'm really curious. It's kind of interesting to try it and see how it's going to spread, or is it going to stay? Yeah. This is just an acrylic marker by Beadham's. Yeah. I'd be curious to see how well it absorbs. Yeah. I could do a little bit of coloring. And I don't have to use the pointy end either. I could wipe that off and use the round end, which will give me a little bit more space. I do notice, though, that the threads from this paper, this handmade paper, does come off on the marker. So I'm just checking it out. I just want to see how much of it is absorbed. It doesn't seem to need any water on here. It does come through a little bit, but it would be interesting to try different colors and see how all the bumps and all of the texture reacts to the markers. Again, I'm just experimenting as I usually do. I'm not an artist. I have no idea what I'm doing, but that is really interesting on how, yeah, how it colors on there. Wow. Okay, I'm starting to feel good about this, I think. There's a little bit of silver. Wow, it takes the color really nicely. other color can I throw on there? Let's go with this purpley color here. Kind of a pinky purple. It really colors well. You know, even though it's a textured piece of paper, it really colors well. Let's try this blue and see if it, and it doesn't seem to blend into the paper. Another experiment. But look at how vibrant that color is and how well it covers when I do a little bit more pressing. And it doesn't really come through very much. But that is really a nice thing to know, that I can use my markers. Oh, here's my pen. I was looking for that one. Yeah, I can use these markers. I wonder, these are other, a different kind of acrylic marker that I have. Let's see how that does. Now this one seems to get a little darker with that, because it's kind of a very light green. Okay. And that one comes through much more. I think it's more watery. Let's try it over here and see how it does. Now, maybe this one is getting, drier. You know, it may be older. Let's try the other side here. Yeah, it just seems to be a little drier on that side. But it's rather interesting that the texture that it creates. Again, I have to wipe the nibs. Well, that is very interesting on different kinds of markers. These are the other markers that I have that I bought at the dollar store a really long time ago. Let's see if we can blend this one in. See, this one, I guess I must have used the other one more often. It's a little bit dry, but this one seems to be much more moist. And again, it's picking up some of the fibers, but how fun is this? Well, I got some crazy fun stuff I'm going to be playing around with in the next little while with these colors. Now this is a purple that's almost, I mean, it's very dark. But everything is a learning curve, you know what I mean? Like, see, it's already picked up some of the fibers from, so the rubbing does wipe off the top fibers. But yeah, this is kind of fun. Let's see if that color That definitely is blending in there. Well, I'm going to have fun with this. This is probably boring for you. I just wanted to test it. And of course, some of these fibers are coming off, maybe because I'm rubbing too hard. But, oops, wrong place. This one goes over here. This one goes over here. I need a bigger tray. Yeah. So these markers are more moist, and this one's just by Kraft. These are cheap ones that you get at the dollar store. Goes through, and it's quite moist. It's quite wet. Whereas these other ones that I have, sorry, I'm just trying to get them. These ones here that I purchased, they bring the color out, but they don't. It doesn't seem to absorb into the material. It seems to flow a little easier on the material than the other markers. So it's a matter of kind of testing the waters to see, you know, how things will absorb and how different markers. I think if I used water, it would be not a good idea, because the more moist ones, as you can see what I've just done here, is not going through as, and it's even marking up my, good thing it's glass. Yeah. These ones definitely seem to be a little bit more forgiving, and the coverage seems to be a little better. Anyway, guys, that is it for me. I wanted to do a little bit of playing around with this paper and seeing the results of the different markers, the different acrylic markers. So these ones seem to work a little bit better on that paper. The other one seems to be more moist and goes through it. So, yeah. All right, that's it for me. Thanks for joining me, and we'll see you next time when I do some more experimenting and just trying to come up with some new things, some new way of doing things, maybe some, some new textures, some new ideas for creating artwork, creating things for my journaling, my art journal, my stuff. All right, guys, that's it for me for today. Thanks for joining me, and we'll see you again soon. Bye for now.